This is Reviewer03, bringing you a review of Maiden Arjuna, also known as the anime about misery. Seriously, this show is more depressing than Justin Bieber. Why? Because it shows how rotten, sick and fucked up this world is, and it does so in a very disturbing and unfortunately realistic way. It also unmasks the darkness of human nature, like our wasteful dealing with food, or the indifference about dumping our trash into the environment and the destruction of our living space. Now, I don't get why people or corporations would do such a horrible thing. The only thing I ever dumped into the ocean were corpses, and those are biodegradable. And that was a long time ago. Last Monday, actually. Okay, time to get serious. I hope you all have your antidepressants ready. Maiden Arjuna is set in present-day Japan, and the story revolves around a girl called Juna. In exchange for her life, she agreed to become the Avatar of Time, and is entrusted with fighting the Raaja, which are a defense mechanism created by Earth in response to humanity's destruction of the planet. Then there's a lot of other characters, but each of them has a more depressing backstory than the others, so I'm not going to introduce them here. I don't want to be responsible for any suicide attempts. To describe this anime in one sentence, this show was one big what the fuck moment. I haven't been so confused, amazed, surprised, disturbed, depressed, disgusted and entertained since Neon Genesis Evangelion. Hell, I think the creator of this show must have seen Evangelion and said, nah, I can make a crazier anime, and he did. But despite being very complex, depressing and crazy, this anime is still strangely captivating. It has a very good animation for its time, and it manages to combine social criticism with an interesting story, philosophy and Hindu mythology in a brilliant way. It's also very deep, educational and serious, and as mentioned before, quite disturbing and depressing. In terms of darkness, it may perhaps even surpass Blue Gender. It's also quite romantic, and the soundtrack is very intense and creepy in a good way. Things which could have been better were the action scenes, which seemed boring, and the story and characters, because many things remain unresolved or disappear into thin air. For example, several characters which appear in some episodes simply vanish and aren't mentioned anymore. Due to this, the anime appears to be quite random sometimes. Another thing is that the first two episodes are very hard to get through. Don't ask me why. They were quite interesting, but somehow they nearly bored me to death. Once you reach episode 3, it gets better and better, but those first two episodes were a real ordeal. And I think that by now, you can conclude that there are very few funny scenes in this anime, and almost no fan service. As for the English dub, it was okay. And you know me people, I'm very critical of English dubs, so when I say it was okay, most of you will probably be impressed. So, despite its shortcomings, I give this anime a good 4 out of 5 points, because it's really unique. Some aspects of it are hard to describe or even comprehend, and its criticism of society may be naive sometimes. Nonetheless, it encourages you to use your own head, a feat rarely witnessed these days.